Oh, sweet bitches. Shane Smith's in the house.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
I saw the Chernobyl thing. Yeah. That was fucking nuts, man. Did you worry about that? I mean, you're there in some serious fucking radiation.
Yeah. I was drunk that whole trip because
does the alcohol supposedly protect you from radiation?
Two things I heard. God knows if they're true, but I heard them, so I believe them as fact. One, that the doctors in Hiroshima and Nagasaki lived because they got so bummed out, like by skin falling off and shit, that they would get wasted. And alcohol is a diuretic, so it forces you to piss. So it flushes out the radiation in your system, right? And also the firemen in Chernobyl lived because they would get drunk every night. And so when we were there, they actually said, take your medicine, and it was like brandy. You know, so we were just drinking this like homemade brandy the whole time we were there, and I was loaded. And we were like laughing, you know, with the Geiger counter as it goes up to like 1,500, you know, and you're just like,
oh my God.
You know, and you're just like, you know, 1,500, 1,600, you know, and meanwhile, just because you're drunk. And then when you go back, they have like a Geiger counter to test your shoes, and they're just like, you know, straight to red. So I just sort of threw everything out, you know, bought like a silver Ukrainian suit, and sort of, you know.
No. What's a normal level? What's like a healthy level?
I think it's like 0.25 millirangens is hot, and we were at like 1,500.
Oh my God!
Have you had any side effects? Have you been going to the doctor like regularly? Like, are you freaking out about it at all?
I do not go to the doctor.
Pour some wine on your feet.
Yeah, I'm Irish, so I'm just like, have a whiskey and you'll be fine. But you know, I was just in Japan actually, and what's going down there? You want to talk about Mad Max is. Like, that's fucking crazy shit, and we're actually going to go back and shoot. We were doing the preliminary thing there, and like the actual reactors, the steel, the containment of the reactors is now melting into the sort of groundwater and melting into the soil. And there's like major cities there of like 500,000 people that are completely fucking irradiated, and they're not telling people the truth, and the kids know that it's wrong. They're really frustrated and they're really angry. And the government's just like denying shit, and both Chernobyl and in Japan, I was shocked because you know, energy, people are going, oh, nuclear power, it's, you know, it's the future, it's great, and whatever. And you just go there and you go, if it fucks up even this much, if it fucks up just a tiny bit, like, you know, in the Ukraine, an area the size of France is still completely irradiated, you know, and you're just like, well, I mean, what the like. How is this even a fucking option?
Yeah, how is it a possibility that you could have one mistake or a natural disaster like a tsunami? Mm-hmm. You know, the fact that they only planned for what was an 8.2 or something like that. That's as bad as it could get, and they got a 9, and it just wrecked everything. And then the power goes out, and they can't cool everything off, and then they're pouring ocean water on it, and that water is now back in the ocean. There's an online presentation that shows the irradiated water and how it's moving through the Pacific Ocean. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. It's beyond terrifying, and what's happening in Japan now is, I mean, it just shows you like, well, what are they what can they do? How are they going to evacuate 1 million people? Where the fuck are they going to evacuate them to?
And how big is Japan? Like, what is the total size of it? Is it possible that the entire Japanese island will get irradiated?
Well, no, because it's now I'm going to show myself up here for being a bad boy, but I think it's like 7 major islands. So, you know, there's, you know, Sapporo's on the north one, and so they have different islands, but it is definitely, it's sort of this area that's about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Tokyo, but it's actually sort of heavily populated around there.
2 hours drive?
Yeah.
So, and that's, you could be that close to a horrible nuclear disaster like that? 2 hours drive?
Yeah. And there's a lot of, there's like, you know, Japan, when we first started having our office there, was like, you know, the future. It was like, you know, wow, it's way ahead of us in technology and, you know, everything else. And now when you go there, you know, there's no air conditioning, so everybody's really hot, and the lights are at like half light, and you know, even stupid shit like we were at karaoke and like it'll just go and slow down because the power's all fucked up, and it feels kind of like a ghost town. Lots of people have left.
That's so creepy.
And it's like it's gone beyond future. It's gone to like it was the future, and now it's like post future. And if it's if that's the post future, then we should drink a lot today because it's gonna not be pleasant.
It's like the movie Akira.
I'm going